Namaskar, greetings, and gratitude. I welcome you all to the Inspirational Star Talks episode number 50. And with me on the hot seat is Miss Nita Arora. I welcome you, ma'am, to the Star Talks. How are you
Thank you.
doing?
Good morning. Thank you, Dr. Preeti, for having me over.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am is here with 44 years of experience in schools. She retired as the director of Shri Venkateshwar International School, earlier principal at the same school. Now, she is a consultant with the British Council, a BC School ambassador, vice president of NGO Cosmic Seniors Paradise, CBSC master trainer who has imparted training to heads, teachers, and other resource persons in India and abroad. Ma'am is a merit holder from Delhi University, MSc Zoology. She is an MEd, SISLET in English language from the British Council. She has also completed a certificate course from Finland on the topic Teacher as an Innovator. She is also an award winning principal from the Directorate of Education, winner of National Extempore Debate Brain Feed, and also won the Principal's Talent Award, among many others. That is so wonderful, ma'am. So wonderful. So glad that you are here today. Thank you for coming.
That's being very humble.
Ma'am, what inspired you to pursue a career in education? And what do you believe are the most significant challenges faced by educators today?
I have no idea why I wanted to be a school principal at the age of 10. My cousins and my sister would play Ghar Ghar and I would play school. And I would be a teacher who would imitate my school teachers. I would teach myself, becoming my own teacher, even till grade 11. And then I'll ask all sort of questions, some very intelligent, some before time, some very stupid questions also, like it happens in a normal classroom. And then I would try to see how am I answering each one of them. Am I able to justify? And then whenever I would ask a question which was like much above my own level that I couldn't answer, I said, child, I'll look it up and let you know tomorrow. So I was, kind of mentoring myself on how children learn and how should a good teacher take care of the variety or different diversity in her classes in terms of learning ability. And I used to really, whichever subject I learned this way has become permanently etched in my understanding of the subject. My concepts became very, very clear doing this. And so at the age of 10, I realized if I want to become a teacher, but how will I take care that the other teachers are equally good, because I didn't have a physics teacher who was kind to children. So I said, then I have to become a principal so that I can help all other teachers take care of children. So at the age of 10, my dream was to become a principal of a school. Now, how do you become a principal? First of all, you have to be a good learner yourself. So that motivated me to learn well, that you have to be a people's person. Then I also fashioned and I realized that a good principal should not only be good in academics, should be a good psychologist, should be a good player. I mean, she should be a sports person. She should also enjoy music, dance, speaking, everything that a school has. So, I mean, as it is, I used to enjoy going to school. Being the middle child, my sister would cry and I said, Mujhe le do. So, what happened was that I kind of became jack of all. Basically, I just enjoyed the process of schooling. And then I did my MSc, and I was the one who would ask so many questions that my friends would say, Nita, please reserve your questions at the end of the class and go and ask in the corridor, not inside the classroom, so that sir stays for another 10 minutes to explain your doubts. And never ask in the last 10 minutes. But I would be me and I would not be able to control. If there is a query in my mind, I have to ask. I would not just listen and make notes. If I haven't understood, I cannot write. So that I think many teachers like this. I never found any teacher who probably disliked my questioning. So I was very blessed that I had very good teachers. And then the process of becoming a journey, though I had to do a B.Ed. So I did B.Ed. I was third in university. Then my MEd was assured. So when I went for a MEd interview, my mother said, "Don't do MEd, do PhD instead. I want to see you as a lecturer." I said, "Okay, let me just go and take this interview. If I don't clear it, I will do PhD." I knew that my seat is reserved because the first and second topper had not applied. And the third, that means that seat was reserved, but I still did not tell that to my mother. And I was really unwell that day. I went for the interview, and my psychology teacher, he was not teaching me in B.Ed. He asked me which sex is stronger, male or female. It was a tricky question. He was trapping me. I fell into it. I could have said both of them are equally good and they complement each other. That's the correct answer actually now. But that day, I said females. He said, why? I said, because the females give birth to a child. So God has made them able to bear the pain. They not only bear the pain, their own pain while giving birth to the child, they also can feel the pain of the child and everybody around them. So that quality of compassion is bigger or higher in females. Now, I don't subscribe to this view, please. So he did not like it. So he started shouting at me to, you know, push me, derail me. I don't know what happened. And then I said, if you look at physiology, female body is more complex than a male's body. So that means God has made the body a little this thing. Although if you're talking about brute strength, males have more. I mean, the kind of hormones they have, their muscles develop more. So if you're talking physical strength, I definitely agree males are stronger. But when it comes to emotional health, uh, females are stronger. And then he shouted more. And then I started crying. I don't know why. We girls actually are quite stupid. I mean, when we are emotionally upset, tears start flowing. I don't know why we are unable to control. Maybe it's due to our hormones, estrogen, progesterone. I'm not even secreting estrogen now, but it's still I am like that. I get teary eyed easily. So he said, no, are you talking about emotional health? Look at yourself. You're crying. And I argued again. I said, at least I can let out my emotions. You guys can just shout. So, which sex is stronger? One who dominates or the one who does not dominate but is emotionally affected? And so, Miss Devi, my RS Devi ma'am, जिन्होंने मुझे पढ़ाया था B.Ed में, my psychology teacher, I used to really like her. She offered me a glass of water. I said, no, don't give her anything. She feels she's strong. Let's see how she can survive this interview. As I said, can you have more questions besides this one? If we are differing in this question, do you have to make me understand your viewpoint? At the moment, no. At the moment, my answer remains this. Whether I cry or you shout, my answer would not change. Let's come to the course that you're going to teach me. So he asked me, he said, no, you're done. We're done. You go. So I said, I asked the other board members, somebody please ask me some question where I can impress this gentleman because I was pretty good in my subject. So, but none of them asked, and they said, "You go, don't worry, and take care of yourself." And I was actually having loses that day. So as it is, I was a little upset with this. There was a paper which I must have done well, an entrance exam. Then while coming back, I came back. Venka sir, by the way, are you aware that the paper that you've given us today was identical to the one given to us for B.Ed? Please tell your team to set another paper. And so then the journey to become a teacher began. And I loved the process. I just loved. I think I was a very, very good teacher in my first year of teaching. Very good. I mean, I could take my children to any tangent. We would discuss in detail. And I loved it. But none of my students scored more than 90% in boards that year. I felt very bad. You put them in any competitive examination and they cleared. They cleared aims and they cleared best ones. But CBSE exam, they could not ace. I mean, I wanted them to get 90% plus. Everybody got 85 to 90, but nobody got above 90. So I realized what is then I checked the question paper and the marking scheme that CBSE gave. I realized it was question which they asked 3 points, and I probably explained the same thing in just 1 point. So my children didn't know how to unnecessarily make 3 points for something so basic. Then I checked the NCRT book, it had 3 points, which I probably never dictated. For me, the concept's more important than the language in which they are explained. Those days, CBSE questions would be based on language. The book says 3 points, you have to write 3 points. So I think second year onwards, I became an average teacher. I mean, I tried to maintain a balance between CBSE and competitive examination expectations. I was a bio teacher. And that year, nobody scored less than 90. Everybody scored above 90. I should be feeling proud of myself, but I did not. I felt bad. I said, what am I making my students? To make sure that they read each and every word and remember it so that they can score full marks, or they go into depth and understand the concept better. So then from that day onward, I continue to remain that something between good and average teacher. And then when I became a principal, now the field was wide open to bring in those changes that I wanted in the system of education. So it required a lot of training of staff. And I would give personal examples. Examples that I experienced myself as a teacher, examples that I experienced as a mother, those uh, bringing up my children and going through their process of learning made me see things from a different perspective, totally different perspective. And I mean, how do the mothers handle the challenge of making the child learn? And what do they feel about if a teacher just gives question answer on the blackboard and repeats the same question in exams? I mean, can you predict a question? But realize that as a mother, I could actually predict all subjects papers. So I realized the system is so wrong. It has to have an element of surprise for the child to enjoy the paper. Something new should be there in each question paper. Then only this country would produce intelligent thinkers. Otherwise, we'll have children who will memorize, get good marks, forget the next day. And that is what is happening. A teacher who's teaching grade 3 or a teacher who's teaching grade 9, you check them on the same subject. They both have done BSc or MSc, and you will find the one who's teaching grade 1 to 3 has forgotten everything. Simple things she can't explain well. She can't interrelate different concepts of science amongst themselves, or science with English, or science with maths. It is all integrated. Knowledge is not in compartments. So I had to literally work with my teachers to take a lot of workshops, general talk, and then we realized how children learn. And then being a principal is a different cup of tea. You have to understand the management's vision. You also have to understand the parental aspirations and how to meet them with, and your child, the child is my child as well, is the center of everything that we plan or do. And it is so important that we give respect to each child, and then you have to bring that respect from parents to the child or vice versa. So you have to use any method that the children start respecting the parents and the parents start respecting this child who is vulnerable. If he hears negative things about him, he feels he's probably lacking. If he hears positive, the child is filled with self-confidence and this child can do anything. So this journey had been very, very satisfying. And I used to
Beautiful.
always call myself initially head learner, then said, what head learner? My children are better than me in many ways. I mean, they learn so many subjects faster than I do. So I changed my
Mm.
nomenclature. I am your co-learner, co-creator.
So beautiful, ma'am. So you are the example of dreams come true. So you dreamt at the age of 10 and yes, fulfilled it beautifully. Wonderful, ma'am. Wonderful. Ma'am, you've had an illustrious career with numerous awards and accolades. Please share with us some of the most memorable moments from your time as a principal.
Every time a child who had been given up by all other fellow teachers कि ये बच्चा नहीं कर सकता, or where the parents themselves didn't have a very positive view about the child's future, if those children could turn around, I think that is my biggest reward. There's so many examples, so many where I had to be the family counselor so that this child is not hurt. If a mother is not being treated well at home, this will affect the child's psyche. So sometimes I had to go counsel even the grandparents. And so I feel all the teachers are primarily counselors. Believe me, if I think I'm a teacher, I teach, I think it's hyperbole. Do I know everything that is to be taught? Knowledge is expanding. So I don't know everything that is to be taught. I was never taught that much. I never could learn everything. I was not on 200% kind key, better than the best. And then I'm trying to teach this child who has limitations. He has not only limitations, he has so many desires to learn. He just doesn't want to learn this particular subject. He may be very good in something that his school is not even teaching right now. Excellent there. And you have examples of people who have made their name in other fields that the school never even offered. So it is so important to understand how children learn and why they learn. Why they learn. They learn only their heart is in it. if they enjoy the process. So you have to make the process enjoyable. And so that, I mean, I cannot just go on their stories after stories. People have been asking me to write my memoirs. I said, I don't want to do it. They said, no, it will be such a good example for other principals to read and get inspired from. So all those children who were given up by a lot of people and turned around, turned out beautifully, did so well in life, made their name. One girl said, ma'am, the day I get a reward on stage, I'm going to say it is all because of my madam. And I'm going to ring you, take you with me. There's just so many such stories. One child who's now a pilot said, ma'am, if you happen to sit in my flight and you hear my name, just tell to anybody, I'll let everybody know my principal is here. I'll make your flight special. So there's so many cases. Children who wanted to be a teacher because they loved me. Otherwise, nowadays, nobody wants to be a teacher. I mean, if you're given the choice to 11th grade or 12th grade, what would you like to be? Teaching comes as the last option for them.
Yes, exactly. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, as a principal, what leadership strategies did you employ to drive innovation and improvement in your school?
You have to be a good listener. I mean, as a principal, talk to your staff. What is it that they like in this school? What is it that they would like to improve? What are the past practices they're bringing to your school? If you take it from them, then you understand that this is something that this lady did in her previous school, which worked for her there. I said, let's try it here. Ma'am, I'm very new. Others may not like it that I'm trying to change. I said, you can definitely do any kind of action research in your own section. I'm with you. Just share your idea with me. Or you try it out and then share. Either way, I'm okay with it. I will not hold it. Okay, why did you try something without consulting me? So do that, and we'll discuss your new innovation. Could be very small. It could be as small as not giving dictation but doing dictogloss, where you would dictate the entire paragraph, not just words, because the words are meaningless. Without a context, the child doesn't even understand, and he makes spelling mistakes, and the child is wrong. But if you're speaking the same word in a sentence, he can recall how was it written in the book, and then child learns, and the child while writing the dictation is also learning the syntax, the entire grammar, punctuation. So that's much better. So if supposing this teacher is doing this instead of just giving dictation, and I will call it action research in that section. And if it has worked well in a section, then we'll take it to all other sections. It worked in these 5 sections of grade 1, say, why not take it up to 1 to 5? So that is how a lot of innovations have moved on to higher level. The only drawback is we haven't shared everywhere. We should have done that, compile them, new innovations. I've done a lot of work with my own teachers on this. Like, for example, once I saw grade 6 not doing well in social science midterm paper. So I analyzed the reason why the children who were doing so well in grade 5 haven't done well in this paper. So the teacher said the HOD 12th class saw my paper and she got it changed, because I said HODs will start taking greater initiatives and this is paper. So this teacher, what she said was, pick the paper as we get in 10th or 12th. So the 6th class paper, which used to start with easy, very easy, fill in the blanks, match the column, one word substitution, started with long questions, 1 mark, 2 marker, 3 marker, 5 marker. And the questions had to be read. Some children at that stage may not be able to understand the question. It's not that they didn't know. And the first 3 questions were quite tough. I said, why did you give these 3 in the beginning? Had it gone in the end, the child would have done it. The child now went into switch off mode. I don't know the paper. Paper is too tough for me. The moment the child think like that, the child not. I said, we will take this paper again. I'm giving you 15 days, revise again. And this time I will sit with you how to make the paper. We will provide some hints. They just come from primary to middle school. You cannot make the first paper so demanding that they feel middle school is all tough. Let them enjoy the process. 6th class would be like this, 7th would be like this, 8th could move towards 10th class expectation, but not 6 and 7. And then they all did very well. We took those marks for a report card. So I was always okay with this. Even if I have to take another test, we will take. But no child should grow with something that is beyond me. Then I spoke to 8th class children, which subject is that you do not really like doing? They said, we don't like social studies. So I asked the entire social studies department. I said, why is it the children are not liking your subject? They have so many things to learn for them. They said they can't recall history. I said, can we dramatize history? Can we make it interesting? The teacher said, yes, ma'am, I'll do it. I said, tell me how will you do it? She said, ma'am, after 2 weeks, come and see my class. She'd done a timeline on the black bulletin board. This king. She made it herself with the help of children. And she joined two boards together. And there was this timeline. I said, now this timeline, you stay in this class for a full month. So the children would see, and it would just be I being a camera will record it, and the child will be able to recall after this kingdom came this. Now she asked the children to take out important characters from each kingdom, each dynasty, and portray that. You have to wear any costume from arranged from home. You have to bring any prop, and you have to remember the famous dialogues of those people. And one child will later on narrate just 3-4 lines about that kingdom or dynasty. And the children would come in one order. It continued for a week, but they understood medieval history so beautifully. And so I said, why can't we dramatize in each subject? Why are we making studies so boring? Teacher will keep on explaining, or maybe we'll show from there's good schools, so we'll show a device, or we show from Educom video, or many other softwares, or the children will make PPTs. But again, it will all end into not, we don't still like it. But when they started living history, it became so joyful to them. Same way with science. I used to write stories for teachers to enact in classes with the help of children. I used to sit in each class, Hindi, Sanskrit, French, Spanish, German, and I would observe how the teachers are teaching. What are they able to connect with the children? My observation would be based on that. Are the children enjoying the way she's teaching? So I realized one Hindi teacher was teaching grade 5, रास्ते का पत्थर करके कहानी थी, और मैडम ने सब बच्चों को बोला रीड करो, एक एक बच्चे को खड़ा करके रीड करवाया, और बच्चा जिसने गलत बोला उसको करेक्ट किया, और बच्चे बेचारे ध्यान लगा रहे हैं कि बस मेरा नंबर कब आएगा, वो लाइन पढ़ के बैठ जाऊं. So they were not really listening to the story. Nobody absorbed. Then I said, I would like ask you to ask questions, Basudha. So some children could answer, some could not. I said, it is because you made them do this reading. No, ma'am, this is what we're taught in B.Ed, and this is a very good technique. I said, yes, all language teachers do it, but what is the logic of insulting the children who has not mastered the art of reading? Why do we have to put him in a spot? So let's do differently. बच्चे से बोलो 5 मिनट दे रही हूँ, अपने आप रीड कर लो सब, और फिर तुम लोग कैरेक्टर्स के लिए रेस करो हाथ, कौन बनेगा पत्थर. एक बच्चे को पत्थर भी बना दिया हमने, कौन बनेगा रास्ते में, ये कैरेक्टर, and within 5 minutes children were ready. I'll be this character. We shifted the table a little, and children dramatized the story. Now they, what do you call, internalize the story. Some of them could even repeat the same dialogues which were there in the book. Some invented dialogues. What is language? Language is not repeating what you read. Language is your own thinking put into action. And और उस कहानी का मॉरल भी समझ में आ गया. कहानी का मतलब इंग्लिश हिंदी इज नॉट ओनली अबाउट लैंग्वेज बिल्डिंग, इट इज ऑल्सो अबाउट ट्रांसफरिंग अ लॉट ऑफ लाइफ स्किल्स, ट्रांसफरिंग अ लॉट ऑफ नॉलेज, ट्रांसफरिंग वैल्यूज. मेरे हिसाब से इंग्लिश हिंदी से बढ़िया सब्जेक्ट नहीं है. मतलब लैंग्वेज टीचिंग से जितनी लाइफ स्किल सिखा सकते हैं हम, किसी सब्जेक्ट से नहीं हो सकते. ऑल्दो आई ट्राई टू डू दैट इवन विद माई सब्जेक्ट, बट लैंग्वेज इज सो इंटरेस्टिंग. नो चाइल्ड फील्स दैट इज बीइंग sermonized. So all those experiments that we kept on doing in our classes, and that led to good results. And the third thing that is very close to my heart is promoting reading. And reading, how do you promote reading? You make the child read something that the child doesn't know. There's something known as sight reading. You read the book with the child. The child doesn't even know letters or words. और वो हाथ रख के, मैंने अपने बच्चों को ऐसे ही सिखाया था. My own kids when they were growing. So I used to have books, 2 books, one he's holding, one I'm holding. I mean, did this with him, and we would read together. And after about 3-4 reading of the book, small thin books, my child would know where is elephant written, and he will open the book, he will read, because the mind is like a sponge. Whatever they listen, they just absorb, and the pictures are there. And then he started putting his fingers at the right word. He was just 2 years old. Nobody has taught him ABCD, but he knew this. Yeah, elephant lika, yeah, pew, and the sounds, especially where there were exclamation sounds words, he was so interested. He would always do this. And this continued, this experiment with him. I said, let's transfer it to classrooms. Let's see, can we do that at nursery prep children, especially nursery. I said, nobody will start with ABCD in the first 3 months. We will just do reading. This I realized towards late in my career, but it has really helped us. Our children now are very good in terms of speaking in both English and Hindi and one more language. And I hope this continues. I am not there in the school anymore, but I have no idea.
I'm sure it would. Definitely, definitely. I'm
Only these
coming to,
children will carry it forward.
yes, I'm coming to my last question, ma'am. Uh, Ma'am, what advice would you give to educators who are looking to make a positive impact in their schools and communities?
What did I do in the last few questions? I just shared my journey. I shared how I learned to connect to children. If your connection is there, everything else is taken care of. Third thing that you have to remember is that you are their foster mother. You're not just a teacher. Do to them as you would like somebody to do to your own kids. मेरा तो जन्म पत्री का नाम ही यशोदा है, तो मुझे तो भगवान ने ये नाम ही इसलिए दिया था कि मुझे बहुत सारे कन्हैया बड़े कर रहे हैं.
Wonderful, beautiful, ma'am. So I had a long list of questions, but I think we are falling short of time. And it was wonderful talking to you, ma'am. Wonderful knowing your experiences. And I'm sure most of us will benefit from it. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you.
much for coming to
Thank you
Startups.
for listening so patiently. I mean, I was wondering now you're going to tell me बहुत हो गया. Kindly, let's
No,
go to
no,
the next question.
no, no. We can go on and on, ma'am. You have such beautiful experiences. I'm sure I'll call you once again and finish off what all questions I had on my list. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you so
so
much.
much. Bye bye.
Thank you, my dear audience, for being with us in this lovely conversation today and listening to ma'am's insights and experiences. We will meet again with another personality who has inspired my life. Thank you.
Bye, Dr. Preet.
Bye, ma'am.